Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the KimUnity Soulutions podcast, the only podcast that's inspiring leadership and humanity within and beyond the workplace. It is so good to be with you all for another week. I hope you all are off to a great start. Today, I just want to jump it off with a question. And the question today is, which do you feel is most important? Your first name or your last name? Which do you feel is most important, your first name or your last name? Whatever comes to mind, you don't have to think too hard. I want to know what comes to your mind. When I ask this question, many people say their last name because it's their legacy, especially men. They want to be able to leave their name behind. They want it to be passed down for generations. Maybe the last name has more significance. Maybe it's familiar. Maybe it's popular. Maybe you have a last name like Rockefeller and you want to be known by that. Now, there are some of you out there who prefer the first name. You believe that the first name is more important. Why? Because it was given to you. It wasn't something passed down. It was something given to you. There's some kind of story behind it. There is uniqueness, maybe, that no one else has. Which do you prefer? Which do you think is most important? Some people choose last name because their first name is more difficult to pronounce. Or they choose their first name because the last name has derogatory history behind it, some kind of bad memory. Now, there's some of you out there who don't want either. You don't believe any of them are more important than the other. You say neither because you want to be known for who you are, regardless of name, regardless of title, regardless of history. I have came across a few people who said both are equally important because one was given specifically to you and the other one tells a story. It has background, it has history. There's no right or wrong answer here. But I want you to see that by asking a simple question, you're able to find out more about a person, not just their response, but their understanding, your understanding of their response. We can get so caught up in what people say and not dig deeper into why they said it. If you were to ask me which was more important, first name or last name, I would say first name. I would say first name because it was given to me. I would also say first name because there are some people out here, and you may be one, I don't know, and this is not shade or anything like that, but you were just given a last name. Maybe your mom no longer wanted to deal with the father. And so you've taken on a new last name that's not from your birth father. Or maybe there was an adoption. Just by asking a simple question, you can find out so much more about people and their responses and their perspectives. Which did you choose? Simple questions reveal deeper values. They provide additional information. And these questions, these types of questions, are not really direct. You can open up as deep as you want to. You can reveal as much as you want to. You can share as much as you want to. Have you ever been in the workplace and maybe management comes and asks you a question like, so what did you do this weekend? Now, many of you may not hesitate to respond to that question. It's just normal conversation. But some of us have been burnt by management. Some of us know that there is a deeper they're wanting to dig deeper. They're wanting to really see who you are by that question. And so we will just say, "It was great. How was yours?" No extra details will be provided. It will be a surface level conversation. That's because of trust or lack thereof. And that's as far as that conversation goes. And it's not just in the workplace. You can be with people that you hang around with or someone you are in the same community with. And it's surface level conversation. Why the hesitation to go deeper? Outside of the workplace, let's just talk about socially. Why the hesitation? Is it because you're afraid to reveal more about yourself? Is it because you feel awkward? Or is it because you don't understand or you can't anticipate where they're going with the conversation, how they're going to take your response, how they're going to perceive you after you share the information? So curiosity dies and connection dies. So does community. We cannot get far if we do not understand the people that we are around. It's all about questions and perspectives. You see, perspectives are built around our own experiences, our own learning lessons, our own viewpoints. There's things that we already know and we already react to based on what we've already been through. So you may ask someone a question and they don't reveal the full depth of their response, of their knowledge, because they are trying to understand where you're coming from. Well, listen, you may already know, but I have created conversation cards called Questions and Perspectives. And I have now made it a digital app. You can actually ask these kinds of questions in the environment that you're in. They're all clean and they're all meant to move us from small talk into more meaningful conversations. You've been around your friends too long not to know or have conversations to where you have a better understanding of them besides what they like on their pizza, would they want a Camaro or a Corvette, what is their dream vacation. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. And I know sometimes the fear is when we are speaking, is the other person just listening to respond? That's why they don't want to share. That's why we stop sharing, because we've done it in the past. And we see how you've responded to that. We see how you've reacted or the lack thereof. Or maybe the other person already assumes your viewpoint. Have you ever been in that type of scenario where something happens and they automatically assume you view it a certain way? And then you have to correct them like, no, that's not what I was going to say. You see, we can sometimes become too comfortable and too lax around the people that we're around. We think that we already know them when we don't. But how do you show the people that you're around that you care? Is by getting to know them, getting to understand them, not jumping to conclusions. You asked a question and they responded a certain way that you can tell they're on edge. Why is that? Did you ask? Did you preface it with, I noticed when I asked this question or when I spoke on this topic, you ... Did you realize that? Do you know why that is? You see, we have to stop assuming. And their response may be something so deep they don't even realize they're being triggered. They don't realize that you have touched a pain point of theirs. I challenge us all to go deeper, to get a better understanding of the people you're around. In the workplace, how else are you going to create an environment where people feel welcomed? If you're management, if you're leader, if you're team lead, and you just come in the office and you're always talking about numbers, or you see your team acting different and you don't even inquire, or someone has been not the same for a few weeks now and you haven't said anything with the same demand. Yes, I understand you still want the work done. But if you address that, if you show that you had any kind of consideration or care, productivity would skyrocket. Employee morale would skyrocket. Retention would skyrocket when you show you care. And not just asking questions, pretending that you do. Not prying into their personal life. Not digging for information that you can use on them later. Because I will tell you right now, I was raised on being told, number one, what goes on in this house stays in this house. And you keep your work life separate from your personal. It's none of their business of what you do on the weekends. And I still agree with that. I still agree, but here's the thing. Even though we keep our work life separate than our personal, we are still bringing in that same energy. If something transpired over the weekend that negatively impacted our mood, our finances, our energy, our health, we are bringing that into the workplace. So it's going to be felt. It's going to transform the atmosphere. So we're not really separating it. It's a facade. And all it takes is are you okay? Do you need anything? Or directing a teammate, hey, I need you to help such and such today. Something is off. And guess what? That same person who you're directing to help someone else may need that same assistance in the future. It's about teamwork. It's about building connection and relationships. Lead with why. Lead with curiosity, not assumptions. Don't assume someone else's intention. And also remember that whenever someone provides a response or shares their perspective, find the value in it. Find how that connects to something else. Find out how that connects to performance or relationship. All from a simple, what is most important to you, first name or last name? It says a lot. I remember, here's another quick question. I asked someone based off of my cards, I asked them, what app, if you had to pick one, is a must-have, that you have to have it? Mine, I said calendar. Because at this stage, if I don't put it in my calendar, I'm going to forget. That's where my mind went. But if you ask someone else, I asked someone else and they said, WhatsApp. And I could have left it there, but I dug deeper. And I said, well, why WhatsApp? He said, because all of my family is somewhere in Russia. All of my family is over here. And that's how I'm able to connect with them. That simple question told me what he is going through, where his family is, how he connects with people, how he feels family is important, all off of that question. Someone else said GPS. The last person I asked said Stripe. Why is that? She was doing my nails because she is an entrepreneur. She is a businesswoman. That is the app she needs. A simple question reveals a lot about someone, where you get a better understanding in where their headspace is. Not on a sneaky level or undermining, but on a connection level, on a understanding level, on a unifying level. What kind of conversations are you having? What reveals the most about a person? Let's start having these conversations. At the end of this video, I'll go ahead and put up a little snapshot, a little short screen record of the app that I created. I'm so excited about it. Again, it's called Questions and Perspectives, and you can find it at qandpcards.com. That's qandpcards.com, and it is free. You can play for free every single day. You will get 3 cards every single day. So if you are going into a meeting and you want to change the weekly meeting scene or feel, or get people open and talking and sharing, just click the button, open the app, and ask the question. If you are going to a church retreat or a women's retreat or date night, with the click of a button, you can play for free. Ask the question. Share your perspectives. And here's the important part. The important part is to listen. Listen without devaluing, listen without judging, listen without critiquing, without debating. Just listen. Start with curiosity. Let that one question just marinate. And then ask follow-up questions like, okay, well, what made you think that? Here is how I see it. And what you will find is the question could be totally understood differently from the way that you perceived it. Not just the response, not just the perspective, but the question. I really hope that you take this opportunity to check out this Questions and Perspectives app at qandpcards.com. Because what I have learned is that I am all about communication. When I started this journey, I was looking at it from a totally different lens. But after I started drilling down into every scenario that I thought brought me here, the underlining foundation was communication. Communication. It has caused a lot of challenges, and it has also created a lot of opportunities. That's why you see me right here. I am communicating through a podcast. I also have a blog. I also have a newsletter. I am Kim, the SME, the speaker of my experiences. I am communicating. I am doing what my 3 grandmothers at some point were unable to do. I finally figured it out. If you listen to my beginning episodes and I tell you about why I started this journey, I tell you that I was blessed to have 3 grandmothers. Not everyone can say that. And at one point, all 3 of them had some type of speech impediment One stuttered. One had a stroke and lost her ability to speak, except for certain words. We won't talk about that right now. And the other, I could not make out what she was saying. She did not speak. Some family members say it was due to trauma. I don't know. And then I have my parents. When you're from a certain generation, you just choose not to speak. You choose not to share your story. It may be trauma related, but they want to withhold information. And now as they get older, they want to share. But as I was growing up, I couldn't get questions answered. And then I grew up being the shy one or being the quiet one. For what? I don't know. Number one, I was the only child. I am an only child. So who else am I speaking to? So I have all these thoughts in my mind. But as I got older, and several years ago, I realized, no, I have something to say. I speak because my grandmothers couldn't. I speak because my parents chose not to. I share my experiences so that you can learn from them, so that you can relate to them, so that you can question them, so that you can add to them. What are you talking about? What conversations are you having? How are you impacting the world? How are you fulfilling your purpose and your calling? Who are you encouraging? What are you doing with your mouth? Who are you talking about? What is spewing from your mouth? Use it for good. Find out what your talent is. Find out what your purpose is. Connect the dots. I have connected mine, and it's all about communication. And for over 25 years, I worked in the accounting field. I'm an accountant by education. And the correlation that I see with communication and accounting is that I've been able to identify the hidden cost of miscommunication. I am great at reading in between the lines. I'm great at seeing where the missing pieces are. Your story has some transactions missing. You see, I like getting to the root of it. I like finding the truth. I am a truth seeker. And that's what conversations and perspectives allows me to do. And I want to bless you with it. And the more conversations we have, the more words we're able to exchange without conflict, without judgment, without hostility, without assumptions, the better the world will be. Go ahead and download the app, QMPcards.com. I will put the link in the description. I am your host, Kim, the SME, speaker of my experiences. You have been listening to the KimUnity Soulutions podcast. Start a conversation and share your perspectives. Until next time, you all, be blessed.